All right, what is going on, guys? So, it is your boy, Intelligent Cycle, and I'm going to tell you guys an update for what's going on with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, and amongst 30 was arrested in two federal gambling related investigations. So, here I'm going to talk about members and associates from organized crime groups were also amongst those charged in two separate illegal gambling related cases on Thursday. So this is I'm reading from NBC News, guys. So just to let you know, this is going on a live update. So what we know is federal prosecutors said today that more than 30 people have been indicted in two illegal gambling related cases. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups, and former NBA player Damon Jones were amongst those arrested and accused of being involved in one of those schemes. The Luchese Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese mafia families were alleged to be involved in backing rigged poker games to scam victims of hundreds of thousands of dollars, officials announced. And three or more than 30 defendants are accused of being involved in both of the sports betting scheme and the fraudulent gambling scheme, and said Christopher Raya, assistant director in charge of the FBI's New York field office. And in one of the alleged scheme poker games were rigged used technology such as chip tray analyzers and X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table, prosecutor said. And the NBA said that Billups and Rozier had been placed on immediate leave from their teams following their arrests. Two of the nation's biggest online sportsbooks market defended the illegal market today after today's incidents. Today's events are deeply disturbing and should concern fans, athletes, and everyone who loves sports and values integrity and fair play, a spokesperson for FanDuel said. They also alluded that the stark contrast between illegal and illegal betting markets, and that FanDuel will use advanced technology and real-time monitoring to identify suspicious activity and work closely with leagues, data monitoring groups, and law enforcement. And the spokesperson said, DraftKings also defended the legal market. We fundamentally believe that regulated online sports betting is the best way forward to monitor for and detect suspicious behavior, while offering consumer protections backed by advanced technology, neither which exists in the pervasive illegal market, DraftKings said. And legal sports books were used the illegal NBA sports betting scheme, which FBI Director Kash Patel compared to insider trading, but which ones were not named at a news conference. They are not accused of any wrongdoing. The sports books themselves are victims in this case. Joseph Nokella Jr., U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, said at a news conference. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups appeared in federal court today and acknowledged his right to remain silent with a yes, according to a reporter for NBC affiliate KGW of Portland who was there. Billups did not make any plea in the appearance of the U.S. District Court in Portland. He was released on conditions after an agreement between prosecutors and defense attorneys, according to KGW, and those conditions include travel restrictions, no gambling activity, a no contract order, and standard conditions regarding firearms, including according to the station. And photo shows Terry Rozier released from federal custody in Florida shortly after being asked to put his home up for collateral. Terry Rozier walked out of the Orlando courthouse on his own accord. Rozier had his right to have future hearings in Florida, and it's not expected a court date will be in Brooklyn, New York in December, and he was ordered to surrender his passport to authorities by tomorrow afternoon. The judge ordered him not to gamble either in person or using an online device. An attorney, Jim Trusty, told reporters that he thinks his client is a great case following Rozier's initial hearing at the federal courthouse in Orlando, Florida this afternoon. The attorney denied that Rozier faked an injury in a game where he alleged tipped off his childhood friend and that he would be leaving early. Prosecutors said that friend later sold the information as part of a sports betting ring. Rozier had medical follow-up after leaving the game in March of 2023, his attorney said, and he had a bunch of people that appropriately confided in, and he had an injury, and he didn't play another game, Trusty said, and he later added, this is not Chauncey Porter. Rozier is expected to be released today after putting home up as collateral. Terry Rozier was expected to be released for federal custody later in the day, set after a Florida judge denied a request from prosecutors to set a $10 million bond for the NBA star. Instead, the judge only required Rozier to put up his $6 million Florida home as collateral for bond and surrender his passport by tomorrow afternoon. Rozier appeared in court wearing a black Hornets hoodie, gym shorts, and low-top sneakers. Vouching for his client's character, Rozier's attorney, Trusty, said the court that Rozier is a man who doesn't gamble. Trusty also who used the presence of Rozier's mother in court to emphasize that he is not a flight risk. The government did not seek detention, but rather sought $10 million bond, citing Rozier's $20 million salary and $130 million earnings over the years, and as well as other values and property. Trailblazers addressed Billups' arrest and announced interim head coach. The Portland Trailblazers released a statement saying that they were cooperating with authorities following the arrest of head coach Chauncey Billups and have named assistant coach Tiago Splitter as the interim head coach. We are aware of allegations involving head coach Chauncey Billups, and the Portland Trailblazers are fully cooperating with the investigation. The statement said Billups has been placed on immediate leave. Tiago Splitter will assume head coaching duties in the interim, the team announced. Any further questions should be directed to the NBA. Chauncey Porter, who pleaded guilty in 2024 betting scandal, mentioned in indictment. Former Toronto Raptors center Chauncey Porter was mentioned in today's sports betting indictment, but Porter himself is not named as the defendant in the scheme. Porter pleaded guilty in 2024 to conspiracy to commit wire fraud over a betting scandal that prompted the NBA to ban him. The former center gave tips to other men that he was going to exit 2 games early, allowing them to their relatives to place big bets, according to the complaint filed in this case. During the plea hearing, Porter said he agreed to withdraw from games to clear his own gambling debts, and an NBA investigation into Porter found that he also wagered in the games that he didn't play in, even betting against his own team at least once. Porter faces up to 4 years in prison in addition to large fines, but his sentencing has been delayed. Operation Nothing But Bet indictment mentions both games Porter pulled out of, alleging that one Porter's conspirators gave the information to defend his name in the indictment to place bets. How the sports betting scheme allegedly worked. 6 named suspects in Operation Nothing But Bet are facing charges stemming from financial crimes as part of a larger alleged scheme to sell information for bets. According to prosecutors, a group of co-conspirators that included Jones and Rozier gave non-public information to a network of individuals to place bets, and the bets were allegedly all made with the intention of profiting off of the scheme that at the expense of the betting the companies. Many of the wagers were placed in connection with betting lines that did not reflect or account for the private information, the indictment said. That's what makes the wagers more profitable. The bets were allegedly made using mobile applications and retail sports books. The prosecutors said that the conspiracy resulted in materially false and misleading representations being made to the betting companies. Suspects said that their co-conspirators were involved in payments using a variety of platforms, including peer-to-peer payment transfers, bank wires, and cash exchanges, the prosecutors allege. And the high-profile gambling arrests could affect the NBA season in the league. The arrests can have a destabilizing effect on the Portland Trailblazers and the Miami Heat as the NBA season begins. NBC News, Andrew Grief details the implications these investigations will have for the teams and the league. Conspirators allegedly bet $100,000 against the Lakers before Anthony Davis' injury went public. Jones also allegedly sold other non-public information about a Lakers player to conspirators that led to a $100,000 bet against the team during the January 15, 2024 game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. According to the indictment, Jones gave away information about an athlete identified only as player forward being injured before the game. The information was not public at the time, and the bet was made hours before the player was listed as probable in the NBA's injury report. Anthony Davis was the only Lakers player listed as probable on the injury report for that day. And ultimately player 4 played in the January 15th game in line with his season average in minutes and performed well, and the Lakers won that game, the indictment said. Jones allegedly sold secret about Lakers players' injuries to gamblers. Jones allegedly sold information on a prominent player's injury to sports bettors while he was an unofficial assistant coach for the Los Angeles Lakers in February of 2023. The indictment said over the years that Jones had been both a teammate and a coach of an unnamed player while Jones played on the Cavaliers and coached for the Lakers. That relationship allowed him to access to non-public information about that player's medical status on February 9, 2023, when the Lakers were playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Jones allegedly texted his co-conspirator would be on out that night and to go get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out, according to the indictment. LeBron James, power forward for the Lakers, was out that night due to a sore left ankle and foot, according to a game recap. Terry Rozier allegedly told a friend he planned to leave the game early. Terry Rozier gave private information about his plan to leave March 2023 game early to his childhood best friend who sold the information to conspirators who would place bets on the game, and unsealed indictment alleged. A second indictment released today in Operation Nothing But Bet alleges that Rozier planned to remote himself from the first quarter of the Charlotte Hornets game against the New Orleans Pelicans over a supposed injury. Prosecutors said he gave that information, which the Hornets weren't aware of, to his childhood best friend, who was also named in the indictment. His friend was promised approximately $100,000 from the expected fraudulent gambling winnings, the indictment said. All right. And last but not least about this, Billups and Rozier are placed on immediate leave from teams following arrest, NBA says. So Billups and Terry Rozier are on immediate leave from their NBA teams. The league said Thursday in its first statement following the news of their arrests. We are in the process of reviewing federal indictments announced today. The NBA said in a statement, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams. We will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities, and we take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. Okay. All right. All right. So, yes, my thoughts about this whole incident is this is a absolute heartbreaking story if you're Portland Trailblazers fans and players, that your coach is pretty much was allegedly involved in a federal gambling related sports betting and currently investigated for these things. And the same thing for the Miami Heat for Terry Rozier. This is just an absolute gut wrenching and heartbreaking story for both teams. You know that this distraction is gonna put you guys in a stranglehold, because now for the Portland Trailblazers, now you got Tiago Splitter taking over for Chauncey. And Chauncey, you should be better than this, man. Why are you getting yourself in these kind of situations, in these kind of predicaments? Uh, and if you're Terry Rozier, why do you put yourself in this situation knowing that the Miami Heat are pretty much short-handed in the guards? So I just don't understand from both sides of this thing. You allegedly get involved, and also Damon Jones, you got yourself involved in this as well. I just don't understand from the perspective of the the players. Why do you put yourselves in these kind of situations? You know, to get yourself caught up in the rapture. You know, to make headlines. But at the same time, I just don't get it. But I'll have more about this information in a minute. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. What are you talking about? Oh, you said what? No, I'll take it. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. Eat yourself. Hold on. All right, all right, I'm back, guys. So yeah, my thoughts pretty much are simple, man. Um, if you're Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, this is the last thing you should ever want to be caught up in a situation of just gambling and sports betting incidents, man. This is something that pretty much can affect both teams, regardless of the fact, and pretty much is a complete distraction, from getting us started to the NBA season from the first two games of the year and pretty much down moving forward. Now, pretty much you're losing the starting head coach and a starting player that pretty much was getting their legs off and then pretty much getting their games in and playing. And then as far as coaching and as far as the Terry Rozier, you're getting playing time. So this is just a thing where people get caught up in the rapture just betting and the rapture just online gambling, which it's not going to do you any good and not going to do you any favors at the end of the day, because these kind of incidences, especially when you have the organized crime groups and the federal investigators looking into things like this is not a good look for your team. So I think the Blazers handled this well, and the Miami Heat and their organization and the coaching staff handled this well. To me, I just feel like that there's more left to be said and there's more left to be desired. And for teams watching this stuff and players watching this is what happens when you pretty much get caught up in the game and get caught up in the system. So yeah, those are my thoughts right there about what's going on with this situation. So I'll have more information about this moving forward. I got to get out of here, guys, and I will be calling the games later on. I will be calling the games later on between the Celtics and Knicks and the Timberwolves and Lakers. So be on the lookout for that tonight. All right. I will be out of here. Thank you all for watching.